Agni, a Hindu fire god that represents purification. In Hindu culture, he is often associated with assisting souls moving on to the afterlife in the form of cremation. My Warframe build today is going to be built out to cleanse our corrupted void enemies by cremating them with the intense heat and power of Rhino Prime. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell so you'll be notified when I post a new video, and hit that like button to please the algorithm. Let's get right into the build. Before we get into the build, I'm going to warn that this is an endgame build and will contain spoilers. This is your only warning, beginners. Do not watch any further to not spoil your experience. Alrighty. Now that the little scamps are gone, let's get into our weapon, operator, and companion choices. For our operator, we're running Uneru for the aura farming, the armor strip, and the extra armor that it gives our Rhino. I'm running my Basilisk amp, which is a 777 amp. This does a buttload of damage. But if you don't know what the 777 means, I'm going to link an infographic in the description down below. Now, we will get into the weapons. I'm running the Fenimore, the Latum, and the Thalos, which are all three Incarnon weapons. The Thalos also has an Umbra Forma on it, and has two builds for both of our helmet abilities on our Rhino. But enough about that. Let's get into our two Rhino builds. Alright, I have 6 Forma invested into my Rhino Prime. I have 1 Omni in the Exilus slot and 2 Umbral Formas so that we can have the full Umbral set. Now, after the Umbral set, I'm running Transient Fortitude, Narrow-Minded, Prime Continuity, and Blind Rage to max out our duration and strength. For the energy economy, I'm running Energy Nexus, and since this is a Wrath build, we're going with Steel Charge as the aura to give us a little bit extra damage on our melee. Firewalker in the Exilus slot, so we get a little bit of extra heat on our bullet jump and more parkour velocity. For the Arcanes, we're running Molt Augmented for ability strength and Arcane Battery for energy that scales off of our armor. That way we don't have to build it into our mods. Lovely. Next, for our Bright Bonnet build, pretty much the same thing. We're just swapping out Energy Nexus for Stretch, since Bright Bonnet gives us energy. And then we're also running Rifle Amp, because when we're doing Bright Bonnet, we're focusing on our rifle. But that's enough on the Rhino build. Let's get into the weapons so that we can finally get to the demonstration. On the Fenimore, we're running a basic Corrosive Heat flat damage build with Serration, Prime Shred, Galvanized Chamber for the extra multi-shot, Galvanized Aptitude for the extra flat damage, 60-60 mods that make a Corrosive Heat combination, and then ending it off with Hellfire so that heat is the predominant status that we are proccing. And then Terminal Velocity, because all of the bullets on this gun are actually projectiles, so you will notice a difference when you're running Terminal Velocity. To top it all off, we're running Primary Crux for the extra status chance, and boy, this thing procs statuses like crazy. Next up is the Latum, which is another basic flat damage heat build. We're going Horror Strike, Galvanized Diffusion, Galvanized Shot, and then our 60-60 mods and a Corrosive Heat combination with Primed Heated Charge to increase our heat rating, and then topping it off with extra fire rate and multi-shot from Lethal Torrent. For our Arcane, we're running Cascadia Flare to give us more heat, more damage, up to 480%, and believe me, this is stacked pretty much all the time. For the evolutions for these two, for the Fenimore, we're going to be doing Void's Guidance for Evolution 2. Evolution 3 is Ready Retaliation, and that reload speed actually applies to the transformation. I'll show you in a little bit. Evolution 4, Elemental Excess, to lower our crit chance, because we don't want to crit with this setup. We want to crit as little as possible, and more status chance. Then we ended off with Devouring Attrition, which is my favorite. It's a 50% chance to deal plus 2,000 damage on non-critical hits. And this scales before Rhino's Roar buff. So it's going to take all of our flat damage mods, all of our elemental damage, and then this damage buff. And then our Rhino buff's going to multiply it by 3 when we're on our Bright Bonnet setup. So absolutely insane amount of damage. Same with the Latum. We're going to be running Evolution 2, which is Rapid Wrath. Evolution 3 for Lethal Armament. Evolution 4 for Elemental Excess, because just like with the Fenimore, we're going for the same setup here. No crits, all flat damage status. And then Evolution 5, Devouring Attrition again. And on the Latum, this one's really special because with all of our flat damage mods and Cascadia Flare and Devouring Attrition, we actually get an over 3,000% damage buff 50% of the time. And then it gets multiplied by 3 by Rhino Roar. Oh my god. Oh my god. Lastly, the Thalos. We're going with a basic melee influence build for Wrath. If you're building Wrath, you just take off all of your crit chance mods because you don't need them, since Wrath is going to be giving you all the crit chance you need. And for the non-Wrath setup, you should run your crit. But let's go deeper into the Wrath setup. I'm running Sacrificial Steel for the extra crit chance, on mostly because of the heavy attacks. This will bring us up to red crit territory with my setup. Triple red crit territory. My bad. That's the one with the triple exclamation points. Amalgam Organ Shatter for faster heavy attack windup speed and a little bit of crit damage. Prime Fury for attack speed. Galvanized Elementalist for status damage. And also status chance on kill, which is Weeping Wounds for more status chance. Primed Reach for more range. Killing Blow for more damage on heavy attacks. And also faster heavy attack windup. And then Shocking Touch to make sure our element that is highest weighted is electricity, so that we can spread it through melee influence. Now, this is a very mechanic-heavy weapon. I am not going to cover the mechanics of this weapon in this build video. I'm going to make a separate video later, and I will link it up in the cards up at the top. Alright, but for our evolutions, we do have to explain one thing. The Thalos, in its Incarnate form, will embed like shards, and then those shards will do damage when you hit other enemies. So even if you're not hitting an enemy with a shard, they're going to take damage as if you're still hitting them. But for our first evolution, we're doing Dreadful Reach, so we get an extra 2 range when we do status effects. Evolution 3, Echoes of Rage, gives us combo count on shard damage, which once we get our transmutation activated on our 3x combo because of Swift Transmute over here, we will hit 12x combo like that. It is so fast. It is incredible to watch. And then for Evolution 5, I'm going with Chain Shatter, since we're basing it around heavy attacks. Shards will detonate when you do a heavy attack, and other shards that are caught within the blast radius will also detonate. So this it works kind of like melee influence, but it does way more damage. Melee influence is mostly to clear out trash mobs. This is if you have a group of heavies and you just want them dead. Alright, and lastly, we're going to go into our companion build. We're running a Nautilus Prime. Our first ability is going to be Cordon. This is to group up all the enemies so that we can use our Punch Through or our AoE on my Latum or the Thalos AoEs to just decimate groups of enemies. Primed Animal Instinct for the utility. Accelerated Deflection so it stays alive. Manifold Bond for extra status effects on our companion weapon. Primed Regen for reduced recovery time. Vacuum for the items. Momentous Bond for another bonus elemental damage. Duplex Bond so we get more clones, which means more status procs, which means more damage, and it also gives us a chance of dropping energy orbs, which is really good for the Bright Bonnet setup. And then Astral Bond so that our operator gets 30% amp damage and energy efficiency. which for my Basilisk amp is really good because that thing absolutely rips through amp energy. And then lastly, assault mode, so that it will actually attack things. For the companion weapon, we're going to be running the Vargas Prime. I have it set up on a radiation, cold, gas, magnetic build to proc 4 different statuses and also CC enemies in place with cold. I'm running Shivering Contagion so that cold effect spreads to everyone. And then Galvanized Aptitude so we get a little bit of flat damage on our companion mod. And then of course Continuous Misery so those statuses last for a longer time. Now that we're done with all that, we're going to get straight into the demonstration, starting with Wrath. Let me make sure I'm on Wrath for you. Make sure I'm on Wrath for you. So, we're going to get some energy. We're going to spawn in level 210 mass rank level goons on the steel path. And we are just going to pop R2, pop R3, pop R1, and everything is dead. Okay, I killed them all before we even got to Incarnate form. Let's get back, let's get them back, and then I can demonstrate the Incarnate form. Yeah. Yeah, this thing absolutely destroys. It even does good without the Wrath buff. But let's just demonstrate this one more time. Oh my lord! But yeah, this combo will clear entire rooms. It is absolutely insane. I love the Thalos. I love the Wrath setup. It is perfect. But now we're going to move on to the Bright Bonnet setup with our Fenimore focused build. So when we get into a mission, you're not able to set up Bright Bonnet right away, but usually you can survive long enough to just kill an enemy and get 1 energy orb and then throw down your first Bright Bonnet. So we're going to get straight into it. We're going to throw down our Bright Bonnet, throw down our Bright Bonnet. Popper 2, Popper 3. Now, we're not stacked all the way, so we're not getting the full 300% damage buff, but as you can see, it doesn't really matter. We're still kind of just destroying enemies. And then once we get into Incarnate form, we just mow them down. It's really just like trimming the side of a lawn, honestly. Just the punch through is punching through them all while our Nautilus is grouping them up, and we can just mow down enemies. In fact, I think I can just stack up all my stuff. No, I can't. It's gonna take too long. But you'll see the demonstration. I'm gonna include some high-level gameplay for our outro, so you can see just the full power of this build. Let's do this one more time with the Latum. Throw R4, then we got a Bright Bonnet. Pop R2 so we don't die. Get our Latum Incarnate going, and then boop, dead. Oh, that wasn't even with Roar. Let's pop this with Roar. Yeah. Absolutely insane amount of damage. But yeah, that is the full Agni endgame build. Super high investment. And I will show you some gameplay that we'll end off with some lo-fi stuff. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked, please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you can see when I upload my next build. And if you really, really liked it, hit that like button. I will see you later. Bye-bye.